Hi, friends. We are reading Storm Runners The Surge by Roland Smith with permission from Scholastic. We are in the third quadrant. We're almost to the end of the third quadrant. Tomas put the van into drive and pulled out of the high school. 6:59 a.m. Tomas pulled the van into drive and pulled out of the high school parking lot. John was in the passenger seat with Marco sitting next to him. Cindy, Mark, and Richard were in the back, wedged between expensive television equipment. So they have more television equipment because they have the TV station van. And so this is actually still the same day. So they got there on one day and had dinner. Then all the next day was the first story. And then this is the next day, the day after Chase went to school. So they're still in the middle of the hurricane. And it's kind of disconcerting because the book is, so many things are happening, but it's really all happening. This is only the second day. Richard looked at Cindy and Mark. Now that we're partners, let's take a look at that hurricane footage. Partners? Mark asked. Richard flashed his best anchorman smile. Okay, how about colleagues then? We still work for the same station. You told the boss we resigned, Cindy pointed out. I can smooth out that misunderstanding. Maybe we don't want it smoothed out, Mark said. Whatever, Richard said. We have nothing else to do. Let's see what we have. Cindy nodded at Mark. He pulled a memory card out of his pocket and popped it into a laptop. How is it out there? Cindy called up to John. Wet, treacherous, but the wind has died down. I'd guess it's 70 miles an hour sustained, which puts Emily back into the tropical storm category. The bad news is there's a lot of water on the road. The good news, at least for us, is that it's washing the lighter debris out of our way. This hurricane footage is fantastic, Richard said. We need to get it on the air right away. We'd have to stop to position the satellite dish, Mark said. Someplace with shelter, Cindy added. This wind would tip the dish off the van. Turn right up ahead, Marco said. And pull over, Richard added. No, John said. We're not here to get the video on the air for the morning news. We have to get to the Rossi's farm. Tomas turned the van right and ran over several small palmetto bushes. Is this even a road? Richard asked. Used to be, Marco answered. They closed it down years ago after the highway opened. If we can get through, it will take us into Palm Breeze, and there are several ways to get to the farm from there. And if we can't? Cindy asked. Then it's back to the shelter, John said. This is our last shot. 7:02 a.m. Chase looked out the passenger side mirror. There was no sign of Simba, but that didn't mean the lion wasn't trotting behind the rig in the dark. They had just reached the second barn, and Chase could see that another challenge was still ahead. To reach the circus barn, they would have to drive across the water, rushing between the two buildings. Stop here, he said. Why? Just stop for a second. Nicole stepped on the brake and took the truck out of gear. What's the matter? We're almost there. It's only 50 yards away. It might as well be 50 miles away, Chase said. Look at the water in front of us. I see it, Nicole said. It doesn't look nearly as wide as it did before. But it's moving faster now, and I'm guessing that's because it's deeper. I think we can make it across, Nicole said. If we get bogged down, we'll still be closer to the barn. This rig is worth a lot of money, to say nothing about the stuff inside the trailer. What do you want to do? I think we should get the gas out of the back and wade across. If we find that it's not too deep, we can get back in and drive across. You're barefoot, Nicole said. I'll have to be careful where I step. And Simba is out there. Believe me, Chase said, I'd rather drive too, and if we could get the rig there, I might be able to hook up the two generators we have in the back to the barn. We'd have power for a week, but if the truck gets stuck, we might lose everything inside. Chase looked at his watch. They had been gone for more than an hour. He wondered if the generator in the barn was still working. 7:04 a.m. Inside the circus barn, the lights flickered and then went out. Pet trumpeted. Rashawn screamed. Mama Rossi put her hand on Rashawn's arm and said, Be calm, dear. Sorry, Rashawn said. It's embarrassing, but I'm kind of afraid of the dark. Add that there's a leopard out there and I'm petrified. We don't know if Hector's out there, Mama Rossi said. You said you closed the bunkhouse door when you came back into the barn. I did, Rashawn said, but it was open the whole time Chase and I were in there. Hector could have slipped into the barn any time. We have already been over this, Mama Rossi said. You and Chase didn't see Hector in the bunkhouse. Rashawn took a deep breath to calm herself. No, ma'am, we didn't, but he could have gone through the door when we weren't looking. Right, Mama Rossi said, but if he had, it means he was more interested in getting into the barn than he was in attacking you and Chase. I guess, Rashawn said. You're standing here. No scratches that I can see. It's dark, Rashawn said. You can't see anything. Mama Rossi laughed. You know what I mean, Rashawn. What are we going to do now? There's nothing we can do for Pet without light, so as a precaution, and it's just a precaution, I think we should head down to the cat cage. It's made to keep the cats in, but it will work just as well to keep a cat out. I'm going to let your arm go. Do you think you can find the flashlight? I think so. I'm trying to remember where I saw it before the lights went out. Be careful not to stumble over Poco, and whatever you do, don't step into the ring with Pet. Are you afraid the elephant might punch me out? No, I'm afraid she might kill you. You're not kidding, are you? Rashawn said. I guess it'd be a shame to be killed by a pregnant pachyderm after surviving the storm of the century. Pachyderm is another word for elephant. 7:06 a.m. Chase and Nicole sloshed to the end of the trailer in water up to their calves. Calves is the part of your leg that's above your knee. Nicole took the lead with the shotgun. Chase followed, keeping an eye out from behind, with his bare feet numbed by the cold water. Anything? Nicole asked. Trust me, Chase said. I'll scream if I see a lion. We're almost there. Nicole stopped. Chase bumped into her. Neither of them laughed. I'm going to step out from the trailer and circle around for a wider view. Watch my back. Sure, Chase said, although he had no idea what he could do to protect her from a lion attack. When they had climbed out of the truck, Chase had taken the tranquilizer pistol out of his cargo pocket. Nicole had told him to put it back. She had said that it would only work at close range. Also, tranquilizer darts only work fast in the movies, she'd added. In real life, it can take up to 20 minutes for an animal to go down. Nicole slowly stepped around the trailer with the shotgun ready. She and Chase shined their headlamps back and forth through the darkness. Simba was not there. Let's get the gas and get out of here, Nicole said. Chase released the latch, swung the door open, and switched on the interior lights. Wow, Nicole said. Yeah, Chase agreed, looking at the well-organized workshop running almost the entire length of the trailer. He pointed at the far end. That door past the workbench and tools leads to Tomas's apartment. But there's a sleeper in the truck. Not very comfortable as permanent sleeping quarters. Chase climbed into the trailer and made his way to the generator while Nicole watched from the door. There were 2 5-gallon cans next to it. He picked them both up, but immediately dropped one as pain shot into his right shoulder. I can't carry both of them, Chase thought, and I can't let Nicole carry the other. She needs both her hands for the shotgun. He walked back to the door with one can. Nicole stood on the ground with her elbows resting on the trailer floorboards. She looked as if she was about ready to fall asleep. I thought there were 2 cans, she said wearily. One will do. It'll keep us going for hours. We can come back and get the other one when it gets. Simba was airborne and flying right at him. Chase dove down towards Nicole and pushed her to the side. Simba hit the shop floor 10 feet past him and slid. Chase rolled out of the trailer and managed to land on his feet. He caught the edge of the door and slammed it shut just as Simba turned around and started his second charge. Chase jammed the locking bolt into place and stumbled backwards. His knees buckled. He sat down in 6 inches of water, hyperventilating. Why did you knock me down? Nicole asked indignantly. Chase couldn't inhale enough air into his lungs to answer her. His heart was beating so hard he thought it was going to explode. Simba hit the door from inside and roared. The door rattled, but it held. Nicole jumped back from the trailer and stared at Chase. How did... Chase held his hand up for her to wait and slowly got to his feet. He took a couple of deep breaths. I didn't knock you down for the fun of it. You missed the leaping lion act. It was pretty spectacular. What are you talking about? I saw Simba leaping toward the trailer. I pushed you down and rolled out. I don't know how I got the door closed behind me. It all happened so fast. If you blinked, you would have missed it. Luckily, you didn't blink, Nicole said. Chase almost wished he had. The image of Simba flying over his head was going to haunt him for the rest of his life. I blew it, he said. The gas can. He looked at the trailer door. I'm not going back in there to get it. You don't have to. Nicole reached under the trailer and picked up the can. It must have fallen out when you jumped. The trailer door rattled again. What do you think he's doing in there? Chase asked, looking for a way to get out. 7:09 a.m. Rashawn and Mama Rossi slowly made their way towards the big cat cage at the far end of the circus barn. Rashawn held the flashlight. Mama Rossi held Poco. Eye shine, Rashawn thought. Yellow, I think. Rashawn's father had taught her a lot about tapetum lucidum, I don't know how to say it, or eye shine in animals. That's the Latin term for it. One of her favorite things to do was drive around with him at night, spotting wildlife. One of her father's responsibilities as refuge manager was to determine which animals lived on the refuge. Raccoon, dog, and cat eyes reflected yellow light. Rashawn and her father could tell what the animal was by the height of its eyes off the ground and how far apart they were. She swept the flashlight back and forth. I just hope that two yellow eyes don't shine back at me. What's that, dear? Mama Rossi asked. Just talking to myself. I do that when I'm nervous. I'm nervous too, Mama Rossi admitted, but I think we'll be fine. We're halfway there. If Hector was in the... Rashawn had stopped. The beam of her flashlight shined on two yellow eyes and a spotted face. Oh my, Mama Rossi whispered. What do we do? Rashawn whispered back. No matter what your legs are telling you, Mama Rossi said firmly, do not run. That was exactly what Rashawn's legs were telling her to do. The only thing stopping her was the fact that there was nowhere to run to. Hector was crouched in front of the cat cage, blocking their way to the bunkhouse and the door Chase and Nicole had used to leave the barn. There was a door behind them, but Rashawn doubted they could get to it before the leopard got to them. I'll take the flashlight. You take Poco, Mama Rossi said. What's the plan? I want you to head over to the ladder by the flyer ring and climb up to the platform. Aren't leopards good climbers? Rashawn asked. They are, but they have to have something to sink their claws into. The ladder is made out of metal. Do you think you can get up there holding Poco? I think so. Good. Mama Rossi took the flashlight and gently handed Poco to her. I'll shine the light on the ladder until you start up. Do you think you'll have a problem climbing in the dark? I should be okay, Rashawn said. If I run into a snag, I'll tell you, and you can switch it on behind me. Oh, I won't be behind you, dear. Huh? I'll stay down here and distract Hector while you get up to that platform. No way, Rashawn said. There's no time to debate, Mama Rossi said. I'm too old to climb that ladder. I've been working with cats since I was a little girl. I can save myself, but I don't think I can save all three of us. Now go. Rashawn went, but she didn't feel right about it. As soon as she grabbed the first rung, Mama Rossi swung the flashlight beam away. Climbing in the pitch dark with an injured monkey in the crook of her arms was nearly impossible. 10 feet up, Rashawn was sweating and out of breath. She paused and looked down, and what she saw nearly caused her to fall off the ladder. Hector was batting the flashlight around the floor like a cat torturing a mouse. The beam went out. Mama Rossi! Rashawn shouted. Mama Rossi! There was no answer.